Communication, although a very powerful and impactful tool, may not always happen the way we want or imagine it to. That is because there are certain factors that disrupt the process of communication, and they are called barriers. Noise is probably the most known barrier to communication, but there are a few other things that hinder communicators when delivering or receiving messages. In this video, you're gonna learn 5 common barriers to communication. Starting off with physical barriers. These refer to the environmental and natural conditions that affect communication. External noises such as the barking of dogs, cackling of chicken, sounds of vehicles are common examples. Too small or too large spaces, time and distance, and even information overload are considered as physical barriers too. Next is semantic barriers. These refer to the meaning of words, signs, and symbols that might be different from one person to another and may be interpreted incorrectly. Here are some examples of semantic barriers. Homophones. These are words that are similar sounding. For instance, eyes, which are the organs we use for seeing, versus ice, which is frozen water. Homographs. These are words with similar spelling but sometimes different pronunciation and meaning. Like the word fair, which means reasonable, and fair, which means light-toned skin. Or tear, which refers to the liquid that comes out of our eyes when we cry, versus tear, which means to slit or rip open. Homonyms. These are words with similar spelling and pronunciation but different meaning. For example, the word bark, which means to howl like dogs, and bark, which is a stem or a part of a tree. Denotations are the literal meanings or the dictionary meanings of words. For example, the word blue, which refers to the color. Connotations are the figurative meanings of words. The connotation of the word blue is feeling sad. Next is language barriers. These are barriers to communication between people who are unable to speak a common language. The inability to communicate using a language is one of the most common communication barriers. Language differences, accents, no clarity in speech, the use of jargons and slangs are examples of language barriers. We also have socio-psychological barriers. These are thoughts or anything inside one's mind that prevent him or her from communicating with others. A person's emotions, attitudes, opinions, inattention, self-image, close-mindedness, and poor retention are examples of socio-psychological barriers. Lastly, cross-cultural barriers. These refer to cultural distinctions that cause behavior and personality differences, leading to miscommunication. Different groups' values, social relations, concepts of time and space, and gestures are examples of cross-cultural barriers. These mentioned barriers may lead to our message becoming distorted, and you therefore risk wasting both time and resources by causing confusion and misunderstanding. Always remember that effective communication involves overcoming these barriers and conveying a clear and concise message. That is why it is important that the communicators seek feedback to check that their message is clearly understood.